Welcome back. We're going to try some more puzzles as I made it to 1,106 points and now have to see what to do. Here obviously is an end game. My king cannot move forward. This pawn is under attack but protected. If I move this pawn forward, it will be immediately attacked. And if I move my king to either of the legal squares, it can have the king gets this pawn. It looks to me like I should attack this pawn because that will force white to capture back. If white does not capture back, I get a passed pawn. And once white captures back, that makes this a passed pawn. But I don't know how I don't know how I could protect it because this square would still be under attack. Can it outrun the king? Let's see. Yes, I think so. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. All right, I got that one. Good for me. I'm aware that a few of my recent videos have had some dead air. That's because sometimes I think without talking. And I would rather have that than have some annoying music playing in the background. So that's what I'm going to do. However, I will try to remember to think aloud. I believe this is the incredibly common back rank checkmate that starts with forcing the king back. Okay, yes, these are incredibly common in puzzles. Almost never see them in games. Okay, this looks more like games to me. Okay, do I have any checks? I do have a check. However, that square is protected. So I would get the piece back. So I would gain a bishop and a knight for a bishop if I did the check first. If I did this first, I would be threatening the bishop. Usually it wants the more forcing move first, such as check. However, in this case, I'm thinking of the less forcing move first, because if I get retaken, then when my bishop ends up here, I have a fork. But maybe the fork first is the more forcing move. You know what? Once I move this knight, I'm going to lose a rook. That's unfortunate. Perhaps I should look at something else. Right now my bishop is under threat. If I move this knight to protect the bishop, no, because this knight would still be hanging. Okay, I do not see a way to protect this knight currently, so I think I just need to move it. And then give up my rook, but get his back? I'm guessing I'm going to guess the incorrect order here. Wow, okay, I was wrong. It did not take my rook. Okay, well, I got lucky, I think, because I believe in any real game in which I moved my knight there, which then does not threaten, it only threatens the knight, which is protected. I believe any opponent I've ever had would probably have just taken my rook. However, the computer is not any opponent I've ever had. Oh, maybe obviously. We can trade rooks. And then raise our passed pawns, in which case I would promote first here and would be protecting black's promotion square. So I believe that's the answer here. Okay. Here we have a situation in which we could trade queens and then race our passed pawns, in which case I actually would not have a head start because white could move 2 squares. However, because it would be my turn, no. First, after I capture, then white has to capture. Then I move. Then white moves. And because it's my turn, I would reach my promotion square first and again guard that. So I believe that is once again going to be the answer. Ow. I think white wasted a move by moving the king out of the way of that pawn when they could have just moved this pawn. Okay, I don't know why the computer did that instead of just moving this pawn. They wanted this pawn because I don't protect its promotion square? Perhaps? I'm not sure. Either way, it could have counted and saw that I would get there first. Okay. I have, or did have, a checkmate threat here. White has moved the bishop to protect that square. So, what is the solution? I believe I can check with the bishop. The king's escape squares are covered by my 2 pieces. And then that would force this bishop to go here. That seems complex, but now this square would be empty. So then I could check here. And clear off some of those arrows. If I check here, remember this bishop is gone. And their bishop would be here. And their escape square would be covered. I believe that's the answer. Oh, well. Okay. Perhaps obviously could capture this. However, the queen then would be right there on my doorstep. Not an immediate checkmate threat. However, my pieces are trapped. One thing I can do is remove the bishop's defender. I wonder if they're looking for something like this. My queen would protect the bishop, which would point all the way down here. Would that force the queen to move? No, it would not. I think the queen would just take my bishop, and if I retook, they would end up a bishop ahead. So that does not look like the best answer. Perhaps the best answer is to take first, let the queen retake, and then put my bishop there. Let's try that. Oh, oh, that bugs me. So many of these are 3 to 4, and a couple that I have done recently were as many as 6 or 7 moves. And you've tried to figure out all those lines, but no, it's just capturing the piece. All right. This square is protected, and this blocks my protection of the knight, which is under threat. However, if I do this, that removes their knight, but then I lose my knight. And then my other one would be under threat from their rook. What if there's a way to do something with this? Wait, what about that? Then I risk losing this unguarded knight. So I should probably just take this first. Allow the rook to come here and then push this pawn. All right. That not only blocked the bishop from coming through, but it was a double threat on these two pieces. And all right, let's see. I do have a check. I also have this check. However, currently the queen is guarding these squares. So I believe if I did do the rook check first, since the queen is guarding these, none of black's pieces have a way to block here, so the king would be forced to move, and then my queen would deliver checkmate. Well, there is, of course, that purposeless move. Okay, and I have passed 11 minutes, so we're going to leave you here. Thank you for watching. If you have some advice or a correction, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you have a question, I will do my best to answer it. So thank you again.